This is Life Transformation Radio. Prepare to engage. Seatbelt activated. Download initiated. Your quantum journey of transformation begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. Hi, everybody. It's Rob Actis, best-selling author of The Law of Action, voice actor, business mindset coach, the podcast whisperer, and Mr. Action himself. Life Transformation Radio is heard in over 90 countries around the world. Thank you for joining us. We so appreciate it. So whether this is your first time joining us or you've been listening to Life Transformation Radio for some time, I want to personally thank you. Here at Life Transformation Radio, we are committed to share more about real life, love, the power of positivity, romance, and of course, laughter. We care about helping others find their internal drive and purpose. We celebrate life's challenges and overcoming them. Please rate, review Life Transformation Radio on your favorite podcast platform. That is so appreciated. And listen to us live on Mondays and Wednesdays on Blog Talk Radio with a special bonus episode today, Thursdays. We're recording it live on Clubhouse. Also, personal invitation from me to you. Please join us on Facebook in the Life Transformation Radio community. On the show, my guests are amazing people who are forces for good in the world around them and live a life of transformation. My guest today does just that. Colleen Lindberg and I discuss how everyone has the choice to step into transformation if they choose to. So if you want to surrender into transformation, choose to transform, and understand that it's really a journey of honoring yourself and your life, this is the show for you. Colleen, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So I love it. So I looked at your website, and your motto is Dare to Be More.
It is, and I created a podcast around that exact same conversation.
I love it. Well, there you go. Well, fellow mutual podcaster. And I also checked out your website, and I saw that you not only dare to be more, but you really like blowing shit up.
I do like blowing shit up.
Okay. So that's the gorilla in the room. So where do we go from there? Like, tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. Like most of my life, I think my whole transition in life has been that way. You know, I was that girl, like, if my mom said no, I ended up doing it anyways, no matter what. And I lived most of my life within that wheelhouse. So if my boss says, it can't be done, guess what? We'll figure out a way to get it done. And it was like I was always blowing shit up, quote unquote, in the way of normalcy, in the way of what the rules and regulations were, in the way of what people said couldn't happen. And I lived forever that motto. And I still believe in that motto, but not in a way of like struggling, you know, like in a way of not conforming for sure, but not in a way like when I was younger, it was more about the struggle. I choose the like narrow winding pathway instead of the like, you know, daisies in the field. And now I just do it a little bit more eloquently, we'll say.
Well, so you started your first entrepreneurial venture at 12 years old.
I did. Yes, I did. So I became a babysitter, which most people probably in the room or listening to this know of someone that did at the age of 12, because that was what you do to, you know, at the age of 12 to make money, especially as a girl who liked kids. But then what I started doing was I got so busy. So I started contracting the work out to other babysitters. But the challenge was at the time, I didn't have entrepreneurial parents who should have taught me to get percentages of the income that they were making so I could create like a whole infrastructure. But I literally started, you know, a business technically at the age of 12, contracting babysitters out. I just wish I would have been able to generate more money with that.
So Colleen, you and I are kindred spirits. When I was 10 years old, I did the same thing, not babysitting, but car washing. So I went out and started washing cars, and I discovered that I really didn't like washing cars, but I loved the interaction with the people that had cars that needed to be washed. And I loved taking the money. I just didn't like doing the manual labor. My buddies were like, dude, how come you have all this cash? I'm washing cars. And they just didn't have the gift of gab that I had even at 10 years old. And so I had 5 of my friends, my good friends, they would wash the car. I charged $3 to wash the car. I got $1.50. They got $1.50, which I thought was fair. And they're all washing the cars. And I was doing all the marketing. And it was incredible. We did that and had money. We were able to go to Carl's Jr. and we bought, Army men and all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, very, very, very cool. So let's talk about transformation. So you're 12 years old and you're doing babysitting. And then where did things go from there?
Yeah. So in like a career standpoint, so I was working like all the time, almost every single night and weekend I was babysitting. And then my mom started getting massages at this clinic that needed a Saturday girl. So she ended up like telling them that I would start working on Saturdays, answering the phones and kind of doing their books and managing clients and stuff. And, at the age of like 14, 15, like that was a cool job to have. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I worked for this massage clinic. And people were like, what? And I'm like, and I'm babysitting all the time. And it kind of set the tone for a lot of like my hustle mentality in life. Like when I went to university, I was that girl that had 3 jobs still while going to university. It was like I was still always in the hunt of more things and transitioning and finding new stuff and curiosity. And it was kind of like I was on this pathway of exploration.
I love it. Okay, so there's a lot of success in your early childhood and your teens. So where did you learn from failures? Like life is not a bed of roses. So what failures did you have and how did you overcome those failures even as a teen?
Like if I look back on most of my early years, probably up until the age of like 20, we'll say, it was always those things that, okay, we would, get knocked down and then we'd get up again and we'd get knocked down and then we'd get up again. And I lived in this mentality of like, I call it the bartender mentality almost. It was like, okay, this would happen. Okay, don't worry about it. Like tomorrow, this will be better. And I lived most of my life up until the age of 20 in that what I call the warrior, non-emotional almost state. Like I wasn't ever like, I never cried at anything. I was always that person pushing at the world. I was like, okay, I'll just figure it out tomorrow. And I always, if you picture like this ball, almost like the hamster on a wheel, like I just kept going and going and going. And although it seemed like I was going places, like I had all these jobs, I had all these friends, I was a social person, none of it was actually connected. So before the age of 20, it was just kind of like, okay, like let's just pick ourselves back up. Let's go. And it was like this like intense pep talk all the time. And then it was almost like I broke open and couldn't deal with life, coming after that. And I don't know, do you want me to just keep driving through that? Or do you have any questions you want to kind of bring forth first?
Yeah. So where are you? So how old are you then? And what was the significance? What happened?
Yeah. So it wasn't like a major event that I can pinpoint right now, but it was more so like, I started feeling like the emotions were catching up to me, like the inadequacy, the unworthiness, the I'm not enough or I'm unloved. And I started going through this emotional roller coaster that at the time I wouldn't have been able to tell you that's what was happening because I curbed it all with alcohol. So I was that, shining bright star. I'd go to work at my 3 jobs and then, we'd end up at the bar at 11 p.m. I'd go drink my face off and go teach aerobics at 5:30 in the morning the next day. And I did it day in and day out because that Band-Aid of a lifestyle for me kept covering up the things that I needed to shift and look at. So I got to the age of about 23, where I met an ex-boyfriend of mine at the gym because I was teaching at the gym. Like I taught aerobics. I was a personal trainer. I was a manager at a retail location. I was going to school. Like I was doing all of this crazy stuff. I was bartending, serving, like everything. And he approached me about a business opportunity in the Amway business, actually, ironically. But I bought into the personal development side that I had never, ever even heard of. Like, I didn't know that they wrote books about stuff like this, or they had audios. Like, I was always a naturally positive person and very driven in life. But I started to read and listen. And then all of a sudden it was like I started changing. And the driven side to me, although it's still there, and even at the age of 40 this year, it's still there. But I started to expose all those emotions that were buried for so long. I stopped drinking for a while, and then I started really to go, oh my God, all of this crap was happening throughout this whole entire time, and started to really honestly take a look at life. And I think I've been on this train, and I still ebb and flow through these emotions. It's been 17 years since I've been working on myself. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's actually a great thing. We all need to be doing the work. People say, your life is so incredible. Yeah, I've done the work. I've worked really hard. And when I say do the work, it's not like I've worked hard. I've worked on myself. Yes. I've put my ego aside and found ways that I can be the best Rob that I possibly can. And that's something that's really, really important. So now you've taken you being the closet spiritual person and, taking those courses that you did with Amway, and now you've turned it into a business.
Yeah. So what happened was, Amway gave me the foundation for personal development. And my ex-boyfriend and I ended up breaking up 12 years ago, I guess. Went separate ways. He took the Amway business back. That was his jam. And I started on this journey of exploring other dynamics of myself. And I got connected to a spiritual mentor who opened up this whole big other door for me of that we're actually energetic beings. And, there's this other purpose to our lives.
Ooh, the woo-woo stuff.
Yeah, the woo-woo stuff.
I like the woo-woo stuff. It's amazing. I've been around it for so long, and I've just kind of not tolerated it, but I've always had light workers around me my whole life. I look back at all the friends that I've had in my life, and they're all light workers. They all have insight, and they all have just that woo-woo-ness about them. And I've never judged them. I've always been open to them. I used to be on the radio a long time ago, and I did a radio show with a psychic, and I just thought that was so cool. I didn't even discount it. I didn't even question. I'm like, that's so cool. And so as someone who's always about curiosity and stuff, I totally love the woo-woo stuff. And so now you have your business in the woo-woo realm. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So at the same time as I stepped into the woo-woo world was the same time I ended up creating a business strategy coaching business. So it'll be 11 years this year that both worlds were happening simultaneously, but they never came together. And it wasn't up until last year, with all this COVID stuff, all of us went, I'm not going to say all of us, but a lot of us went through self-reflection. What does this mean to me? Who am I? What do I need to change? And I got into a hard stop, at the end of 2020 where it was intuition, higher self, my guides, whatever
downloads,
makes sense for you.
Yeah,
I was getting downloads.
That's what I say is the downloads. I've got the lingo down because I get a lot of downloads now. I had a near-death experience. I've had multiple near-death experiences, and they were just okay, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. And so, downloads is my thing. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
I love it. I love the word downloads. I was getting a download. I do that all the time.
Absolutely.
That I needed to merge them together. And I was like, what do you mean merge them together? Because like you said, I've been a closet spiritual person, meaning that if you knew me well enough, you knew I was in that world. I had all this training. I do case studies with you. I did it for fun, quote unquote. But it was no, it's time for you to step in and merge them both together. And I was like, what do you mean? How do I do this? And then finally the answer came was you need to take, all of your business strategy stuff, but you're leading with soul purpose, helping entrepreneurs find their lane based in their heart center and what they're really here to do, and then help them create their unique strategy around it. And I went, okay, fine. I can do this. All right. So I was I'll launch it in January. This is October. November, clients started coming in for it. I wasn't even promoting it. Nobody even knew that I was doing this yet. And all of a sudden people were like, yeah, so can you do this like Akashic record stuff for my business and help me realign who I'm supposed to be, in this business and like help me create a strategy around this? I was like, who have you been talking to? And it all started kind of going from there. And that's kind of where we're at now. It's just like, it's been an amazing journey over the last 6 months, but also, all the stuff that I cleared, from 23 up until today, it's about like dominant clearing now to make sure I keep standing in light to help serve more people.
Yeah, you're so powerful. Now, you mentioned soul a moment ago. So let's go down that path. You're a channeler of light beings. And I just, if you're listening right now, I just invite you just to listen. And just to hear what's going on. Don't prejudge and don't go, oh, like really know. And I think that's really significant now in 2021 is that light beings and transformation and spirituality in ways that you may not have heard of before or experienced before are all around us. And it's become more in the mainstream, which I love because I didn't know it. But apparently, I know a lot of channelers of light beings. And it says here that you work a lot with Archangel Michael. So I would just like to go down that path of what it means to channel a light being. And specifically, that you actually are working with someone of serious power and magnitude. Like Archangel Michael, are you kidding me? That's like, wow. Like I can feel that. Like my eyes are watering now. That's significant.
I feel it too, actually. Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. It's, I've always channeled, but I didn't know that I was actually channeling, meaning that I would sit quietly. Someone would call me and ask a question and I go, what do I feel? And I would get like that feeling, a download, like someone was always guiding the answer. And, I've come to this humble position now that anything I say, and even in strategy sessions, even with people that don't believe in spirituality or don't know, everything is coming from another source. So let's bring it back to like an availability for people to really get it. It's like we have a soul in this body. So we are in a physical experience here as this energetic soul. So you have an intuition, and a lot of people get that part, like they feel things, but it's connected to this higher pathway, this higher purpose, and people, quote unquote, people or spirits outside this earth dimension. So God is a word a lot of people use in a more religious sense, but it also can be used in an energetic sense. And people get angels, like they understand that terminology. And all of us have guides that are here with us as well that have chosen the pathway to help assist us in this life, because we are here to experience in this, what we call 3D physical form world. So as a channeler of light beings, it means that I can tap in to get answers from a higher pathway or purpose. So if you have past loved ones that you want to talk to, your guides, your higher self, and Archangel Michael is the angel of protection. He's also a massive earth angel that helps protect the world and keep everything kind of moving around in the world. And he's phenomenal for helping ground me in certain clearings and protection clearings. And when I feel like there's like heaviness, like there's, like we carry emotional baggage, but we also can carry energetic spiritual baggage. So when I feel that from people, I really bring him in to help support me, to protect my energy, but help me be able to be better for the people that I'm showing up to assist and help and guide. And you feel him. He is amazing. His energy comes through like that he is here when he is with you. And anybody can call on any of the archangels at any point in time to assist and help them. And there was a point in my life where I was like, oh, I don't want to bother them. They've got all this other work to do, but they are energy. So they can be spread in every single home on every single part of this earth and still have way more energy to give. So if you are ever in a challenge and you're not feeling safe or you're feeling down, like call in Archangel Michael. You need help communicating, use Archangel Gabriel. You need help in your health, Archangel Raphael is there, and there's 8 dominant earth what they call earth archangels that help with earth itself. But there's so many more that we can tap into for different things.
Wow. Yeah. Archangel Michael is definitely present here because I'm like lit up. Like I can feel. And the one thing is that I've always known about Archangel Michael, and he's so powerful, like so powerful in a really calm blue flame type of way. And it's just like, whoa, like, ugh. Yeah, I'm getting a download, like I'm all chilly and stuff. It's so great. Okay. And another thing that you do is a past life regression practitioner. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So we are a soul having an experience in this, what they call timeline, right here in this present earth moment. We're all here on this call, in this room, on this podcast, on this radio show together in the present time. But there was other times that you've been in a human form in other areas. Maybe you were born in World War II and like you're a young soul right now at the age of 7, let's say, and you were alive then. Or there's all these different lives that we have been a part of as a soul. And as a past life practitioner, if there's a cycle that you're going through in life right now that is consistent, you can't seem to clear it. You don't know why it keeps showing up. You're doing the work in a certain way, but it still keeps coming. It might be rooted in a past life that it started back then and has brought forth in all these other lives up until this point. And now you're at this point in life that you're ready to heal it. So what we do in past life is we go into a hypnotic state. You guide the session. I'm here to just help you guide it. And you go back into the life. We talk to yourself back then. Maybe you were an animal. Maybe you were a different sex back then, or different gender back then. Maybe you had X, Y, and Z. You could have lived somewhere else in the world. And we literally in those past lives can go back into that life, into whatever was going on, and find the root cause as to why you're cycling, the challenges, what needs to be healed, get the answers you need in order to be able to move forward in this life.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, if you're listening right now and you're like, wow, I'm listening to this, the universe is letting you know that you're at the right place at the right time. And the way this all works is it just unfolds itself as you are ready to read the book and see the movie and experience everything that's around you that you didn't know was around you. This is all stuff that you didn't know that you didn't know. And if you're hearing about it right now and you're still in the room or you're still listening to Life Transformation Radio, you want to look at that as a gift from the universe because you're opening up to hear it, to see it, to feel it. And I will say one thing, if you're in this room right now and this is all new to you, welcome to a new journey of transformation, because strap in and hold on tight because you ain't seen nothing yet. It's all I can
So true. Welcome.
I'm just all lit up. Now you're also a median. And that is?
Yeah. So I just if you want an answer to something, so let's just say.
Now, is it a median or a medium? Is it spelled right? Is it median or medium?
No, it's a medium. Sorry, it's probably spelled wrong.
Oh,
Mediumship.
Great. So here I am looking. So I know what a medium is. I'm looking at your website and I'm like, oh, she's a median. Oh, and I was trying to look up median all morning, trying to find it out. Thanks a lot.
You should have texted me.
So here, but knowing who you are, I'm like, oh, and see, that's to show you how open I am to all of this. I'm like, I've never heard of a median. It's something that I didn't know. So we'll move on. Got what a medium is. Understand that. Got it. That's 101. Okay, good. However, I love this one. Ready for this one? And this better not be the car Genesis, a soul Genesis practitioner. Like that just sounds cool. Like I want a business card. Yeah, I'm a soul Genesis practitioner. That just sounds really kind of elevated. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So each of us has a soul, like we've already discussed throughout this entire time.
We all have a soul? You're kidding, Colleen. Really? All of us? Some people, I wonder, some people may not. I don't know. Some people go into this world. I wonder, do they have a soul? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's already left. I don't know. Go ahead.
So some souls have more light than other souls do. Okay.
There you go. Okay. So everybody has a soul. some are lighter than others. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. So a soul genesis practitioner allows us to be able to open up Akashic records to go find out different aspects of your soul and what you are actually here to do on this earth. So what your soul decided that it wanted to accomplish when it was here. So just give you guys a back frame before we jump into our physical form, like this body you're in right now. If you can like imagine like you're on the other side and it's like you're looking at a whiteboard and you're going, okay, so I've got an option for all these experiences. And you go, I'm going to take that one, and that one. So those ones will be like life lessons. And then I know that a couple of these other things might show up. So I'm going to make sure I bring in those two talents with me because we're going to need them if this actually happens. And I get the dynamics of my parents that I'm about to get into. So maybe we should bring in that support. And then you look behind you and you go, okay, which one of you guys are going to help support me in this? And then so your guides say, okay, I got your back the whole entire time. I'm going to be right here to help support you. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. And you put your backpack on and you slide down the chute. And all of a sudden you're birthed into this world in a physical form, bringing all of this knowledge with you, but you can't talk to things that are happening. But all the while your soul remembers the pathway and the things that you're here to do and accomplish, even if you don't actually remember it as a human. So as we move through our life here on earth, we're triggered by intuition, by feelings like I feel good, I don't feel good. And we go through these experiences, but our soul has this almost, let's say, matrix that says, this is what I value. This is who I am. This is the training that I have as a soul. This is what I'm here to do. And that's what a soul genesis practitioner does, is it gives you that information, allows you to understand your soul groups, gives you the pathway where then we can build upon that.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm just curious, are you giving yourself these titles, or is this something you had training for? And then someone says, I now dub you soul genesis practitioner. Did you make that up? Because it's really a cool name. I'm just curious.
No, I took certification training.
Okay, got it.
Someone
Okay.
else downloaded that training and that's their certification process. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. This was fun going down this road. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. You ready?
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
So Colleen, what is your why?
Man, it's kind of evolved over the years for sure. And I say this all the time, and I am now believing 100% that this is exactly where I need to be. My job in the world is to help light up the lights of others so that they can go out and light up the lights of the other people that they're supposed to light. So it's really about that service side of helping light up the world, really.
I love it. What is the most significant event in your life that led to your transformation? And is there one significant that led to your transformation of where you are today, like right now?
Yeah, like I know there's a lot of people that have had like traumatic experiences that led them into like being transformed. And I feel in my life, it's always about the small shifts that have led me into this transformation. Like there wasn't a big moment in my life where I was like, boom, this changed everything about who I am. But it was in those small like transformations almost that led me onto this pathway. And, I could say it's like releasing of relationships or, and then it brought forth a new learning. And then, changing of careers that brought forth a new learning. And it's all really about the reflection of all the small things added together that has gotten me to this point, and that I think will continue to get me to the next point and the next point and the next point. So
I love that. I love that. Mm-hmm. All right. So you talk about choosing to transform. What exactly does that mean to you?
Yeah, like we all have circumstances in our life. We all go through things, and some of them are more emotional for us or more dynamic. And, sometimes we look at other people and we go, why did I take this on, and why me? And that person doesn't have that. But I really feel like in every single moment of our lives, we get to make a choice. We get to choose to stay there. We get to choose to stay in it. we get to choose to maneuver through. And sometimes we don't see it when we're in it. But if we keep making the choice that keeps aligning with who we are as people, our light, our value system, and if we keep moving that 1% shift all the time to keep aligning that, then we will transform. We will get to the other side. We will get to our better selves and the new version of ourselves. But we have to have the conversations. We have to be bold. We have to dare and have courage to step in. We have to look at it and go, this is going to suck real bad, but I know on the other side of this is where I need to be. And we have to keep choosing every day. We choose to get up. We choose to do the work. We choose to do the self work. We choose to release the things that no longer serve us. So every aspect of our life is a choice, whether you see it or not. And if you see it and you are not choosing, that is still a choice not to choose. So,
and then you talk about surrender into transformation. So you say choose, but what do you exactly mean by surrender into transformation?
Sometimes it's about releasing the control, because sometimes we're in situations and we're like, I don't have the tools to get out of this. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. And that's when we literally put our hand. I'm learning a lot more that like I can connect better in life and be in alignment more when I surrender to God, to the universe, to my guides and to my higher self who knows what I'm supposed to be doing here. And if I can just open up my arms and go, I give up and I believe that you have my best interest at heart, and I will accept the road and know that I can't do it on my own and I don't have this skill set. So I surrender to the pathway you're bringing me on, and I will be a student here ready and accept the lane that I'm supposed to go through.
I love it. So when you were 12 years old, that was kind of a significant life because you were doing your entrepreneurial path. 12, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you could go back in time from today, April 15th, 2021, to any day when you were 12, we'll just say on your 12th birthday, you just get to go back in time and say, hey, Colleen, I'm your future. Here is what I want to tell you. And where are some things that you could share with your 12-year-old Colleen that would have had an even more significant impact? Like, what lessons have you learned now in 2021 from when you were 12? And what would you tell 12-year-old Colleen?
Yeah. Okay. So I definitely would say to her, look, life doesn't have to be a struggle all the time. You don't have to go down the narrow, winding roads to prove that you can do things. So here's a couple of pointers. Firstly, I get that you really want to, work hard in life, which is a great skill set to have, by the way, because obviously we want to take that forward, but let's do it smarter now. Like, let's not do it where it's like the brow sweat any longer, but let's really start to think about some things like residual income and aligning with people and joint venturing, and not just chasing the dollar, but chasing the impact. And through that, then you'll miss a whole bunch of the struggle in the middle. But obviously I know, like today, I went through it all to be at this exact point in life. But, if I had the option to go back, okay, so 12-year-old self, that's one thing. Second thing is you are more than enough. You don't need to be your cousin. You don't need to look at other people, and be jealous of what they have. You are more than enough exactly how you are, and exactly who you are in this world is exactly who you need to be. There's people out there that are your people that are waiting for you to step in to be your amazing self. So stop wearing the masks. You don't need to pretend to be something that you're not. Just keep being you and they will find you. And then I think I would say one more thing, the third thing. The most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. So let's find out the amazing things about you and step in to love yourself first. Because if you don't, then all of these other relationships will show up in your world to test that, which you've done a really great job at the age of 40 as you look back on it. But maybe we can diminish that a little bit so that we can actually step in full-heartedly to a love relationship that is balanced instead of all this other dynamic that had to come through first because you didn't love yourself first.
I love it.
That would
love
be
it.
what I'd say.
Love it. This is Life Transformation Radio. We do a special Thursday live recording inside of Clubhouse. We have a audience, and we would love to offer you the opportunity. If you would like to raise your hand, come up. If you have a question for Colleen, go ahead and do that. If not, we will continue, but I want to give you that opportunity because that's the benefit of being here live. So if you have a question, raise your hand. If not, forever hold your peace. I don't see any hands. They're just so in awe from you, Colleen. You have answered every single question so beautifully and so perfectly. Like, wow, like it's amazing what you have done. I lost my voice there for a minute.
Thanks, Rob.
I didn't. All right. You're so adorable. Well, I know that if someone wants to reach you, they can do so on Instagram because you eat, sleep, and breathe on Instagram at the Colleen Lindberg. Slide into her DMs if you have any questions. And Colleen, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today on Life Transformation Radio.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
You were a wonderful, wonderful guest. And I'm also glad to have you in our tribe because you're so amazing. You're such a beautiful soul. You light up the room. You light up this airwave. You light up the world. So thank you for being you. And when you do reach out to Colleen, please let her know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Thank you for listening today. Thank you so much for your support and taking the time out of your very busy and precious day to listen. We so appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me, along with my very special guest, Colleen, to touch your heart, move your soul, and inspire you to live a life of transformation. I'm Rob Actis. Until next time.
This is Life Transformation Radio.
Download complete.